first of all, I should let y'all know that it doesn't really matter what colors that you use for your cupcakes. These are just the colors that I'm using. I'm going to teach y'all 2 ways to do a cupcake. The first one's going to be easier, and the second one's going to be a little bit harder of a technique. For the first cupcake, I'm using a tan clay for the base and a purple clay for the icing with green sprinkles. In the second cupcake, I am using a brown chocolate base and a hot pink icing with a little cherry on top. That's what the red is for. So these are just the clays that I'm using. You really can pick whatever colors you want. That's my toothpick for texturizing, my blade. I'm using an empty bottle cap for mixing. Those are some cotton rounds, and that is the everyday household rubbing alcohol. The first step I'm going to do is to clean off my work surface as usual. That's the most important part, especially if you've just made something on your tile with strong colors. You're going to want to clean that off because other clays are going to pick it up. And now we're going to be conditioning the tan clay for our first cupcake. And we're just going to roll it into a ball. The first thing that we're going to do is start to form, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's kind of like a mushroom cap. I like to place the ball, like squish it on at the end of my thumb and make it kind of rounded. So yeah, just keep working it around until it's a circle with like a well in the middle, and the top is going to be puffy, just like a mushroom cap, just like you would do for that. And then the second part, you're going to take the other half of your tan ball and roll it into another ball, and you're going to roll it out into a tiny little log because you're going to be making a cylinder. You don't want it to be too tall because cupcakes aren't really tall. They're not too short either. You want it to be just the right size. I'm kind of squishing down the bottom so that cupcakes kind of go in at the bottom. That's the way that the pan is shaped usually, that they're baked in. So I'm squishing that down a little bit, and I'm going to place the mushroom cap on top of the cylinder, and just make sure that it's securely on there. You don't want it to fall off after it's baked. So yeah, just keep shaping it, and this project gets easily distorted if you handle it too much, so you need to keep reshaping as you go. Alright, now you're going to condition your purple clay. I really like that color. Alright, that is it's a plastic roller that I got from my friend Nicole for my birthday. I told her that I would tell everyone that she gave it to me. I'm rolling out the purple. I could use a pasta machine for this, but I find that the hand roller is just a lot easier. I'm putting it on top of the mushroom cap. You don't want it to be too thin, but you definitely don't want it to be too thick either. So you want it to be pretty much medium, and a little thinner than medium, I guess. And you're just going to shape it around. It doesn't have to be perfect because real icing on cupcakes is not perfect. So it can just kind of drape over what you need it to drape over. Just make sure that the mushroom cap is completely covered. You don't want it to see the crease. Now you're going to take your blade and you're going to add some texture. And you're just going to make little lines in the sides like that. And kind of like a normal cupcake would be. If you would take it out of the pan, it would have those little lines on the side. And you're just going to keep going around until it's fully covered. There you go. And there's the little markings. This is the easy version of the cupcake. This is like super easy. And we want to take your green snake that you have, or whatever color that you chose for sprinkles, and you're going to want to cut it out into little tiny logs. You see how thin that is? It's not too thick. If you have it too thick, it'll look weird, but in fact, I wish mine were thinner actually. But you're just going to cut them off into little pieces like that and start placing them on top. And you can put them wherever you want. Just, put them all around. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. And let's just keep putting them all the way on. Just kind of squish them down, because if you don't, they'll fall off after you bake them. Alright, so now we're going to start on our second kind of cupcake. This is a bit harder. You're just basically going to do the same thing you did for the other base. You're going to split it into two, and you're going to start making your mushroom cap. Just condition the clay and start shaping it around your thumb. And whenever that's done, just set it down and start with your base. And you're just going to condition it and roll it into a ball, just like last time. You're going to roll it out into a tiny little log and then squish it down. Not too much though. You don't want it to be too tall or too short. Make your base. Make the bottom narrower than the top. And when you have that all shaped out, you're going to stick your cap on top again. And if you see any other tutorials, people do this differently, but this is how I like to do it. It's a lot easier for me. Some people don't even worry about making the mushroom cap. They just do the base and then put the toppings on it, but I like to have something to work with. Now we're making the markings again on the side, just like the other one. And that's done. And this is where the hard part comes in, so you need to watch carefully. We're taking our icing color, that's a hot pink. Usually I wouldn't use such a bright pink, but I had run out of my ballerina pink clay. So this is what we're working with. So you're going to take your bottle cap that we have, and you're going to break off little pieces of the clay. And it has to be super soft. You want to condition it for a while so that it's like basically just sticky. That's what you want. And this is called TLS. It's translucent liquid Sculpey. You can get it in your craft store. I don't use the cap just because it's hard to get out. So I just pour some in there, in with the little pieces. And this stuff is cool because it's basically the liquid form of the polymer clay. And that's whenever it's really hard to mix. I just sped up the video because I was actually doing that for a very long time, mixing that clay to get that consistency. So don't give up. It's going to take a while and it's really painstaking, but that's what it looks like when it's done. And I mixed it with a toothpick. So now I'm applying the mixture to the top of the cupcake. I'm icing it as if I was icing a real cupcake. Icing wouldn't usually be this sticky, I understand, so it's really messy. You can see I'm like wiping my fingers off, but it's really, it adds a really nice effect whenever it's baked. And this stuff can bake in the oven, and the reason why we had to add the colored clay is because the translucent Sculpey turns out clear when it is baked, so you have to add pigment to it. You can add chalk, you can add oil pastels, you really can add I just did clay here, but you can add a whole bunch of other kind of pigments. I've seen people use oil paint before, but this is what I chose to do. So we're just going to finish up icing this, and you're going to want to kind of swirl it on top so it's kind of cute. And I think that's the finished product. And you can do sprinkles. Really, the cupcake is such a fun thing because you can add so many different features to it. But I decided to do a cherry on top of this one. So I just got a little ball of red clay and I'm sticking a hole in the top, kind of make a little indentation where a real cherry would have, where the stem was. And I'm just going to place it right on top. And there is the cupcake. It's beautiful. Okay, enjoy.